Hello, all you scaredy cats and kittens. Welcome to the Two Scaredy Cats Podcast, where we talk about all things paranormal. We're your hostess with the mostest. I'm Stacy.
I'm Kara.
And today we also have a special guest with us named Savannah. Can you say hi, Savannah?
Hello. Hello, hello.
So today, this is going to be our second of our 5 episodes that we have out for our Scaretober that we're doing. This one's hopefully a good one for you guys because this is our first ever ghost hunting thing that we've done. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. I know we had a lot of fun going there and we all had different experiences that we're going to talk about on the episode today. All right, so real quick, we wanted to go over a brief history of where we went, actually, and we haven't even told you that yet. We went to the Madison Seminary, which is located in Madison, Ohio. This place was built in 1847. It was originally started out as a school for elite boys. During this time, a lot of children didn't have an education, and children that they felt were the brightest and the best, they would send to this school. Wow. It got to the point where they're taking kids in from all over the whole area. And at some point, they had to add on to it because they had so many kids there. And they ended up building a portion of the building that could accommodate up to 150 kids, extra kids in the building there. And that building that we're referring to that started out as a seminary is actually referred to as the Civil War building. It's a large house that has pillars on the front. And like I said, they grew out of size at some point in the late 1800s, and they had to build some extra room for it. But eventually, after taking in all these kids, it got to be the point where everybody had school finally. They opened up public school for everyone. So they no longer needed to send them to there. So they eventually shut down the school. And as soon as they shut down the school, it was purchased by the Women's Relief Corps. And they purchased it in 1890, and they basically turned it into a home for women that had lost their husbands during the Civil War. They had, they could bring their sisters there if they wanted. It was only and mostly just for women. After that, it became the Ohio Cottage, and that started in 1904 because it was donated to the state at that point. So from that point on, it basically would house women who had mental problems or women that didn't have anybody to take care of them anymore. They would all come there and stay there. And this went on for many years. At one point, it was operated by the state as a place for women that had been in the reformatory. They would come there as their final step to be being released out into the public. Would stay down in the basement, and they would help take care of some of the elderly women that live there. Eventually, though, they had to shut the doors. In 1904, they donated it to the state, and at this time, it was used by the Department of Mental Hygiene and Corrections, and it was used for a lunatic asylum, if you want to call it that, for ladies that had lost their mind or had some type of mental breakdown. Eventually, though, they had 3 floors. Okay, so anyway, the way the building was set up was the first floor was where the cafeteria was and where an entity or a ghost by the name of Grandpa can be found. The second floor is where the caretakers lived on one side, and on the other side they had rooms for residents. On the third floor is where you could find Sarah's room, and we'll get to that later on when we talk about that with our experiences. But actually no children in that part of the facility. The children were all over in the Civil War side. But anyway, there is an entity there that claims its name is Sarah, and it's a little girl. And then the fourth floor is the rec room, and also where the lunatic asylum was, or where people that had mental problems were held. And they were usually the ones that were really messed up and wouldn't be able to function properly in society, so they just stayed there for most of their lives. So that brings us to what happened or while we were there, we went on a tour, right, Kara? And they told us some things that went on while we were on the tour. So what were some of the things that they told us about when we were on the tour?
Well, so we were there specifically for a photo shoot, but when we first got there, we decided to take a tour so we could check out the areas and everything.
Right.
And because we were curious for the podcast, we wanted, like, specifically this one was for, like, haunting tour.
Exactly.
She told us a lot more of where, like, hauntings were and stuff. We began on the Civil War side, and she showed us that. But she showed us there was 2 floors.
Yes,
if I remember.
That's correct.
Because it was like a split floor, so we went up to get into it, right?
Yep.
And then there was the basement, but we went up, and then we went on the tour, and there were, like, she told us there was shadow people that were spotted on that side a lot. I feel like she did say that most of the hauntings happen on the other side, or at least more of...
Right.
It seems more active, and it seems more residual on that side. Seemed like it's just repeating.
It was definitely on the
past
other side.
On the Civil War side. We did have a few experiences on that side, but I feel like the majority of what happened was on the other side. But we also spent more time on that side too, so that could also have to do with it. Most of the photo areas we wanted to take were on the other side.
Exactly.
We did take photos in the basement, and we had some weird stuff happen.
Yes. The basement was very weird.
But we're just going to talk about the
actual tour that we had.
We went on the tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went on the tour.
And while we were on the tour, we should say, Savannah, who was with us, she was
not
actually,
with us.
Yeah, she did not go on the tour, so she knew nothing about what had been going on there.
Before.
What people had experienced in there. So she had no idea what she was getting into.
She kind of went in blind. We we explained some stuff, like a little bit of it, but we didn't like really tell her particulars. No. We kind of wanted to get her perspective, because she kind of grew up in a house with, like, it was kind of haunted, so she kind of had a lot of experience with the paranormal already.
I grew up with those, unfortunately.
But anyway, so that's kind of where we're at now. So me and Kara then.
So we had the side on we did the tour of the thing, which wasn't very eventful. I didn't really feel like other than, like, well, did you have anything happen while you were on the Civil War side?
Yeah, the only thing that I had one thing happen when we went into Sarah's.
But that's
room,
not. No, we're talking about Civil War side.
That's what I was saying.
I was like, hold on.
I just got no, not the Civil War
side.
Nothing happened.
Not
really
during the tour. Nothing really happened.
Just the basement, though. Yeah, the basement was kind of
weird. The basement
just
gave us weird vibes. Right, yes. There was weird vibes in that basement. Yeah, we did go back, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, later. But the basement, definitely, we did not feel very comfortable in the basement, and we wanted to get out of there as quick as we could. It was,
there was weird stuff
going on. The basement had some weird vibes. Yeah.
But we went. So after the tour on the Civil War side, which wasn't very eventful, we learned some stuff, but I didn't really feel weird.
No.
Until we went on the other side.
No.
So the grandpa's room, which is kind of like the cafeteria area, that was fine. I didn't really feel bad or anything.
No, it was definitely not a evil spirit. In fact they said that he was like kind of a little bit of a trickster. He liked to joke around with you a little, play some games.
We did,
but
so they also showed us the back corner basement, which had where they thought the body was, where they had the cadaver dogs mark on that. We went in there. That place was a little. I didn't like the feeling in there. That's for sure. It was with the hole in the ground, Savannah.
Yeah. Yes.
Was it the one with the hole in the ground? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And they didn't find what they were looking for either when they went digging to find the body. Apparently.
Yeah, they think it's slightly to the left, or they think it's just slightly off from where the dog marked.
Oh, so
they still haven't found a body, but
found it. Yeah.
Cadaver dogs have
identified where
alerted
it is.
That it might not be there now, but at one point there was probably a body, or they might have moved it previously. But
did they say? Do we remember on the tour? Did she tell us how that lady got buried in the floor? Do we remember? I can't remember. Do you remember?
They said that they think it was like a rumor. So then they started, and when the dog actually marked, they were like, okay, maybe we should look into this. And I believe it's the current owners are the ones who are trying to dig into it, because they've only owned it since 2018, I believe. Is that when
It was 2016.
2016. Okay,
he's a cool guy.
And the owner's name is Adam Kimmel, and we actually met him. He's a super nice guy. Super nice guy. Yeah. Really
we definitely
nice
want to go
guy.
to his other property because he just bought another one that's like closer to us a little bit. It's not as far north.
That place sounds cool. I hear there's a lot more activity at
Fairfield.
that one.
It's like the Fairfield. What was it?
Is
Hospital?
it infirmary? Or...
Oh, infirmary. Fairfield County Infirmary. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Look up that place too if you're interested, because we definitely want to go check that out at some point.
Yes, we are gonna have to.
But yeah, so the first floor was pretty okay, other than the back room, and they just showed us the right room. And remember, like the wind was kind of blowing, so the door kept making that noise because it scared. Because it just opened. The door just opened.
Right.
And we were like,
yeah, it was weird. Yeah, and she was like, "No, don't worry. That's
like,
not
that's fine. It's just the wind." And I'm like, "Okay." It's so scary. Just watch the door open.
Yeah, every time the wind kicked up, it would kind of move. It was kind of crazy.
So this place was 4 stories, which is crazy. And there was like, so the second floor we went on for the tour. I just remember there were like just a lot of rooms. It was
actually that one was. Remember that was where we got the best vibes from. That floor. Remember that?
I felt like the first floor, at least in the grandpa room, I liked the best. But the second floor was chill too.
Yeah, I didn't feel like there was. It was just kind of you know.
Yeah, that one was fine.
There.
Other than that one room that we went in, the kids' room.
Right.
Sarah has 2 rooms technically. The room on the 3rd floor is her actual room where she actually like haunts or whatever. But she has so many toys that people bring to her that she has an overflow room on the 2nd floor, which is where we did photos in. Which I didn't feel like anything weird in there. It was a little creepy just because of the toys.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really feel bad
it was creepy
in
because
there.
of all the old toys, but I felt okay in there.
But yeah, there was that. There were a lot of other little small rooms. There was like just so many rooms you could go in. There's probably like 30 or like at least like 10, 20 rooms each floor.
Yeah, on each side.
But they were all like tiny bedrooms, but still it was just
they're all like
huge how big this place is.
And the cool thing was he had a lot of antiques
he had them set up. They were staged.
Yes.
The rooms were all staged, which was nice because we were doing photos, so it was kind of convenient. I could definitely come back there.
And it made you kind of think about how things were during that time period. Sure. It's definitely
felt like
a different
you were
time
there,
than we have now.
There were what really creeped us out were a lot of freaking were those wheelchairs just all over. Oh yeah,
those things were creepy.
Those were really creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and they are original they're original to the time. He said they got like 11 of them spread out all over the whole property.
Yeah,
which
there's
is
a bunch
crazy.
of them. And they're just kind of eerie because you see them in the middle, the end of the hall.
Yeah.
Come around a corner, and then there's that.
Just sitting there looking at it.
It's pretty accurate because they were really people around because it was like a home for like older people too.
Yeah.
At one point.
Which makes sense why they would have them all, if you got a bunch of older people that can't walk very well.
The 3rd floor, that was where Sarah's actual room was. Which the first time we went there, I didn't feel like too bad. It wasn't until we went in there and we were messing around. We weren't messing around, but we did like ask some questions.
The 3rd floor, though, when we went into her room the first time with me, you, and the guy. Yeah. And we're in there, and she's like, she was talking about all these toys, and she's like, oh, these toys are new. These weren't even here when I was here yesterday. And she's like pointing them out to us and that. And all of a sudden, I kid you not, I hear a baby cry, which like freaked me out. And she didn't say anything about it. And I thought maybe, how like sometimes the dolls, when you lift them up or move them around will make a baby sound, but she didn't touch any of the dolls. So I knew it wasn't her that had made that noise, but I heard a legit baby cry, which was really creeping me out a little bit. But I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to freak you out, and I didn't want to sound like a lunatic either, talking about, oh, by the way, I heard a baby cry in here, while we're standing in there. But
yeah, I didn't hear it.
That's
that time.
The only thing and that freaked me out when we were in there. But that was all I had happen when we were in there with when we were there with the guide.
I just felt like I really wanted to go back to that room later.
Yes, I know you were like obsessed with it. It was almost weird.
I was really wanted to go back.
You were very obsessed.
And I was very excited to try and talk to Sarah, which is weird. I don't know. I felt like I really wanted to talk to her.
You were obsessed,
quote unquote.
Well,
I wanted to go to the 4th floor too a lot too, and that was like probably the scariest.
Yes,
floor.
you did. You kept getting drawn to the 4th floor. Yes, the 4th floor.
That was probably the scariest, and we had the most like negative reactions. It's like, even if we didn't really have Well, I had some. I swear to God, I heard like whispering in one of that rooms. Do you remember? I think you heard it too, Mom. You heard the. Because we were upstairs. She was giving us a tour, and there was the room that she said that when you walk into it, you get like really strong emotions. And I walked in there because I'm dumb.
And you know what?
And
I know. And Kara was like, all of a sudden, she looked like her
I
face
did not.
turned
I don't
pale.
know.
She didn't.
I was
like,
okay.
Get out of
I was
there
okay
now.
At first, and then I don't know. It like set in. I was like, I did not want to be in there. I wanted to get out because we still were gonna go down and get Savannah. So I was like, let's get out. Let's get out. Let's go take a breather. I do not want to be in here. Yeah, but I heard that whisper. Like, it was in that, I'm pretty sure it was in that room. I was walking out of the room and I swear I heard something like whisper. It didn't like sound like it whispered in my ear, but it sounded like something in that room was whispering. It was creepy.
Well, you know what? I actually found some information about that particular room and why everybody feels that way. There was a resident that lived in that room, and when she first came there, she had dissociative voice disorder, where, you know, they have like our personality disorder. So she had when she came, she had at least 6 different personalities. And when she died, she was up to 38 different personalities. So they say that she pretty much lost her mind in that room, and that's why when you go, they tell you before you go in there that if you have any type of, any type of mental, maybe anxiety or anything like that, you should not go in that room because she will feed off of that. Yeah, and you walked in, and I'm like, what are you doing, you dork?
I didn't take. I took a step in and then I stepped out.
I told you that was not a good choice for you.
It was just so weird because like the entire energy of like each portions of the houses just felt totally
different. It was
different.
Weird, wasn't it?
Like the left side was like, it felt like, I don't know, older, because I feel like the right side's technically more, or the non-Civil War side was newer, I believe.
Yeah, that's true. That it was.
Yeah,
it was built after the Civil War side.
Like the energy was different too.
It was totally different. I agree. Yes, it was definitely more ramped up, and I feel like some of that might have had to do with the fact that they had people that were not mentally sound, so maybe a lot of that contributed to the energy level in there being so
especially upstairs,
much more intense.
I don't know, it was
than
like
the other side.
As soon as you got on, like to the top floor, you just like felt weird. Like, I don't know, I felt off. Just walking around, it just felt heavy.
Yes, I felt very dizzy, and I felt
dizzy
like,
too. I didn't feel like, I felt like sick to my stomach.
Yes, and I felt very anxious.
And this was just during the tour.
Right.
So we had other experiences when we went back.
Oh,
I mean, they were very similar. We still didn't like that floor, but we did go up there just so Savannah could check it out and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we did a recording in there.
Yes.
But there was the surgeon's room, remember?
Oh, yeah, the surgeon's room. That place was,
it was on the 4th floor. It was set up like a I don't know, a surgeon,
right? And there was a surgeon that actually
performed a lot of. You have to call him surgeon, and he does not respond to women. So he will get very angry if women try and talk.
Oh yeah,
to him.
In fact, he's been known to scratch women if you go in there. And
it was so weird.
Very rude to him.
Because I was kind of like being bold, and I was taking steps into other rooms, but I did not want to step in there.
No.
Like I looked in it, and like I wanted to, but I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. The energy in that room was not very good. Yeah.
But yeah, I just felt like chest was tight. It could be asbestos for all we know. That place is definitely not up to code.
Or the mold. How about the mold count in that place? Because of, from the walls peeling, from the paint and stuff, from the amount of water that they soak up. I mean, it was crazy.
But I mean, I definitely, after that, we saw the other rooms upstairs, and then we pretty much went downstairs because we wanted to go check on Savannah and see if she was ready.
Right, because we had to bring her so we could take photos. Right.
And
then we took a breather, collected Savannah, got all our equipment, and we went down into the basement.
Oh my god, that was a time trying to set up the lighting equipment.
Yeah, because we kept fighting with and we usually don't. Yeah, and we kept freaking out, and like things were happening.
We were in this really creepy basement. Like, it was like the creepiest basement you can think of in a movie. And I don't know, that back room, we had already heard stories about that area in particular. And so we were all on edge. And then Savannah just had no clue what was going on in there. I mean,
right.
obviously
she was
had,
just bebopping along. She was putting on makeup and stuff over by the window. Yeah, she was trying to
still put her wig on, and she's over by the window.
Well, what did the tour guide say about
she told us that... Go ahead, Kara.
So there's a male entity or a ghost. He likes to he's normally in the bathroom, but sometimes he will wander, and he will touch women in, like, places. Like, sometimes it's a little...
he's a very sexual
but sometimes it's very, like,
harassment.
sensual kind of touches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also some women too. Remember, they said that there was some women that were down there. That were from the nearby reformatory for women that would get to stay in the house to take care of the elderly ladies that live there. And they said that they were like kind of partying and it was like a. I don't know. And they were doing things they probably shouldn't have been doing while they were down there. They might have even killed some of the residents for all they know, like bad stuff was going on. But yeah, so what happened to you, Savannah, when you were down there? What did you pick up on or feel?
Well, what was it? Like when you come down the stairs, like you kind of go down this hallway and
yes, that's correct.
The room at the very end of the hallway was like the bathroom, right? The one that you faced. That room was, it was very dark in there. Like the basement was dark anyways, but like, it was very dark in the bathroom and I had no desire to go in it. Especially after what you told me. And I misunderstood about this entity.
Oh, no,
I thought you meant that he couldn't leave the
That's
bathroom.
where he's mainly.
He came out of the bathroom sometimes. So, I wasn't worried about it. I was like, oh, you're not gonna go in there. I don't like the vibes in there, so it's fine. But I'm standing in the room that we were shooting in, which was like just this little room that happened to have like a bookshelf and like these really old like medical textbooks, which was cool. And there was like a kid's desk in there, and like
there's maps on the floor. Like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, very old maps.
And all that fun stuff. And I was trying to look through some of the books, but they were so covered in mold that I was afraid to like go through them.
Oh my God.
They were real like old medical textbooks. So I was like, oh, this might die. I can't touch them because of mold. But I was standing, by one of the windows because I was using the light to finish my makeup and put my wig on, and I'm just standing there, and suddenly it feels like someone is running like their hand through my hair, like they were patting my head. I just felt just like if someone took their hand on my head and just like rubbed it. And I stopped what I was doing and I was like, was that one of you guys? But I knew it wasn't because you were on the other side.
Yeah, we were literally on the other side.
Trying to figure out the light thing and fighting with one another over the stupid light.
Yeah. And I don't know, I just got like kind of a chill from it, but then like I wasn't super freaked out because of my upbringing. Like I'm kind of used to weird stuff like that happening, but I knew what had happened as soon as it happened. And I didn't want to tell you guys because
we were already freaking out.
Like,
the energy in there was like, I don't know, we just got super angry or frustrated.
It was weird. I started like as I was finishing my makeup, like I just started shaking, and I didn't know why. I was shaking and I couldn't stop. Like I didn't feel anxious. Well, I felt anxious, but I didn't like particularly. There wasn't a reason that I should have been shaking.
My ear was ringing while we were in there. It was weird, and I felt like somebody was like touching my ear, like you know what I mean, like behind your ear. It was, and I felt like I was underwater and I couldn't hear right. Like it was weird, and I couldn't concentrate.
I felt like you were listening to me. I was like, "We've set this. I've like, we've set this we up.
Is that why you were arguing?
I didn't.
We were just bickering.
And then I told her to get her rocks out because we had these little rocks with us. Remember the rocks, Mom?
Yes, and as soon as we got those
protective rocks.
Right.
Yeah, as soon as we got our rocks out, it like
we were fine.
Obviously, it was still intense, but we definitely chilled out a little bit. It definitely helped us chill out because I was like, "Mom, get your rock out because you're stressing me out." Did you say you felt something touch your leg? Touch the back of your leg?
Yes, and I also felt something touch my leg. Yeah, and it was weird. It just kept like on the one side of my body, that whole side. That's the side that my ear was ringing.
What the fuck?
And I kept feeling like something like be
That's
near
weird.
my leg.
Yeah, other than like
weird.
The energy off, I didn't really have anything touch me or anything.
But then eventually when we were like ready to actually start getting like down to taking photos,
it seemed okay.
like the room just stopped. Like all the weirdness just stopped and it was fine again. It was really weird.
We were okay.
I think it's just because we were focused on that task. Yeah. Like I know we wanted to get out there
as quickly as we could.
Yes.
That was for sure. That was definitely an experience.
Yeah, it was our first experience in there. I feel like we didn't really have because we went to go photograph in the little girl's room.
Yeah, that was our next stop.
Was the little girl. That's where we went next. I feel like we didn't really have much experiences in there.
No.
I feel like it was pretty normal. I don't think anyone else did, right?
No.
Nah. Yeah, I didn't.
I felt like
I didn't experience anything.
Yeah.
Like I said before, the toys were creepy, but I think that was just because of how they looked and how old they were, and a lot of them were like faded or broken. And I was hesitant to like touch
bring
any
something
of
home
with you. Those were for Sarah. Those are Sarah's toys.
I don't know. Well, that, and I knew they belonged to Sarah, and I didn't want to like touch them and like potentially anger her or something, or just like she'd be upset that I was touching
for the
stuff.
photos.
But eventually, I did touch some stuff, and I'm. Yeah. So
that's good.
But nothing
I think so. After what? Oh, Mom, I forgot. You had that experience out in the hallway where you almost fell over.
Yeah, that was when
Remember?
We were on the tour.
It was right by that room.
Yeah, it was. It was right down after Sarah's room, and she had told us that there was...
I was like looking into Sarah's room, and all of a sudden I saw you, and you you were like staring off past like the end of the corridor, and all of a sudden I saw you look like you're about to fall over, and I was like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I just got really dizzy all of a sudden, and I couldn't.
I thought she was gonna fall over. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, it was weird. Like I almost felt like something had like I guess I shouldn't say pushed, but like went past me. Does that make sense? Like I don't know, and that's why I felt like I was, you know what I mean? Like why I felt like I was dizzy and I was gonna fall over. That was like after we were in Sarah's room, and but it was while we were on the tour before we picked up Savannah that happened. Remember, because she had told us there was two little shadow people that like to peek out from behind the two doors on the end of the hallway.
Yeah,
and that's. Oh, was that the fourth floor?
The fourth floor?
I thought it was. That's right.
Yeah, because I was at the back of that hallway.
Yeah, the peekers.
The peekers. She called them the peekers. They would peek.
Yeah.
Peek out. It was just kind of creepy.
Yeah.
I was glad we didn't see that because I would be out the door.
Yeah, we're good.
We had enough creepy experiences for us to be like, all right, we're out of here.
And then,
I think we went back up to the third floor, right? After that,
yes,
we went into Sarah's room. Is that when we did the thing? And you were not happy about us going to Sarah's room. Yeah, we went back up, but we weren't taking photos in there, but we were just wanted to go visit, and I wanted to take a recording.
Yes, so Kara's in there messing around, invoking the spirit of Sarah.
I was just asking her questions. I was interested. Well, okay, so the story is with Sarah, because I don't think we talked about this.
No, we haven't.
At least what the lady said is that they call her Sarah, but we don't actually think she's a little girl because there's no reports of any little girls, like not children that were in their house to begin with. Yes, they think
on that side of the building. Now in the other Civil War building they had children, but not the side of the building.
but not on this specific side. But they've had people who try to confront her, and people have had physical altercations with whatever is in that room.
Right.
Like the one girl said that she had, I think she knew of someone who had a photo. I can't remember if she said her personally or someone she knew.
It was her. She said she had gotten scratched.
Yeah, she said
before.
she got. And then she's seen someone who was like questioning if the spirit was actually
right. Yep.
a thing, or because they kind of think it's a demon. So
right.
It's pretty scary.
Wasn't there like a guy who went on a tour and like told the spirit that it wasn't actually a little girl, and then when he was like driving home, Remember?
I know that there was someone that did go in and like they like were confronting her. I don't know about I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Did that? I don't know. I don't know.
I thought he got in a wreck on the way home.
It sounds familiar.
It does sound familiar, but I don't remember.
I'm just making that up. I don't know.
So
also,
then, so in Sarah's room, while we were in there, we also made sure to leave a gift for Sarah because apparently everybody leaves gifts for Sarah, and I felt like if we didn't leave a gift, she wouldn't take too kindly to us being in her room and touching her stuff.
While I was recording, this is what we thought. So, Savannah had her phone out, but I think she was like taking videos of herself, which is fine.
I was taking a picture in like her little vanity, the one that had all the gifts on it. It looked like an altar almost because there was just so much stuff on it, and there was like money on it. There's a pile of money in front of the mirror.
Yes, because of all the gifts. But we heard something, and I thought it was your phone at first because it sounded like I thought it was crying. It sounded like something crying.
It sounded like a baby.
Like a baby crying is what I heard, and.
That's what I heard too.
Because she heard it that time, but she heard it before, but I didn't hear it the first time. I heard it the second time. I thought it was Savannah's phone because we both looked at Savannah, and like I could see that her phone was literally like she was taking a picture. So I was like, okay, that's not Savannah. So thank God we had that was when the thing was recording too.
So we got an EVP of that.
Yes,
which we will play for you.
You're like, hello, this is Kara and Stacy and Savannah. We are in Sarah's room. If you are here with us, Sarah, can you let us know? Is this your rocking horse over here? Or your doll? Your dolls? I really like your dolls. Is that you? Well, thank you for letting us come in your room, Sarah.
I mean, no harm or disrespect.
Yeah, we really like your toys. We wish we would have known. We would have brought you something. All right, thank you.
Oh, wait a minute. I have stuff for her.
Oh, you got some stuff?
Yeah, here, Sarah. We're going to do some stuff. Thank you for letting us over.
Oh, pick it up. Put it back on the table.
Here, Sarah. This is for you. Here's your stuff. Thank you. Bye.
But we think we caught the actual the crying.
Yes.
It definitely sounds like something like wah. It was really weird.
Yes. Yeah, it was very
and
weird.
It's like right when around the time that we thought we heard it, we actually caught it, which is pretty cool.
Yes. For people that don't know what the heck they're doing with all this stuff, so that was pretty cool.
But we were just kind of we weren't going there to record. We were going there mainly to take photos.
Right.
But we were also going to just check it out in general. And so we were recording and just like taking photos and videos and stuff. Yeah. And just kind of trying to get our own experiences. I do know that you were not happy to be in that room, Mom, and we had to like leave almost as soon as we were done. I
did not like that room. I felt very overwhelmed with a lot of emotions when I was in that room. Like I thought I was going to start crying. It was
you did not sound happy, and I was very happy to be in that room. It was weird. I was like,
it was very weird. Yes,
to it.
You were. Yeah,
I was Which normally you wouldn't think I would be like, let's
it.
Talk to this freaking demon girl. But I was like, yeah, let's do it. I got the thing out. We're doing it.
Right.
And you were like, no, you wouldn't even stand fully in the room. You were like in the hallway. No. You were literally right by the door. And I'm like, I put it on the rocking horse, and there's like her little rocking horse.
I was right by the door because
I asked her. I was like, "Is this your rocking horse?" And believe right after that is when we heard the wah or the crying noise. Yep. Which is weird.
But
yeah.
I don't know about you, but I heard it twice while we were in that room, like when we were in there together.
I only heard it once when I was
twice
recording.
While we were in there
That's
second
when I heard
time
it.
Also.
Yeah. Just it. I don't know. I know you heard it twice. I only heard it the time when we were recording. And I was like, oh my god, thank god we got it on recording because I would have been pissed.
Yeah, right.
If we fucking heard it.
Right, all that hard work, and we hear this and we don't get to have positive proof that what we heard was really real.
Okay, so I think after that's when we went back down. I think we were by the blue hallway, remember? Is that when we heard that one thing? I think that's when we heard that one.
That is when we thought we heard.
You mean
something.
I was like, we heard this weird noise, and I swear to you, it sounded like a wheelchair being pushed around. Like, it sounded distinctively like that. And my mom decides to gaslight me about this. She's like, I didn't hear it. I was like, did you hear that? It sounded like a thing being pushed. She's like, I think it was someone outside. When it clearly sounded like it was down the hallway. But she's like, oh no, it was from outside. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, all three of us stopped mid-sentence. We heard it. Like, right? Did you hear it? I think all of us heard it.
Yeah, I heard it too. I'll admit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
So I'm like, what the
at that point,
I think we left that floor almost immediately after, because we were like, oh.
Yes.
Because that was on the third floor, right?
It was a very loud noise.
It was
very loud. I will admit that. It was
exactly described as like you would like someone pushing a wheelchair across the ground. You could hear the
It was very
of the
distinct.
wheels.
It sounded like somebody was shuffling or
yes. And like it was creepy because there were wheelchairs on that floor, so it was extra scary.
Yeah, it did sound like a wheelchair.
So we were like, oh, I think we pretty much went downstairs.
Everywhere,
I think we had to take a break after that.
Yep.
Oh, I think we did, because
Stacy was freaking out a little
That
bit.
was when we took a breather, yes, because I think I was about ready to cry or pee my pants or both. Yeah, I was not happy, yes. I needed to cleanse, I needed to ground myself with some earth or whatever.
Because we went out, and then we went back up to the fourth floor.
Yes.
You did.
I forgot we did
not
that.
Want to go to the fourth floor. I remember that.
No, she did not, but I did. No. I was like, let's go. I was curious.
I did too. I wanted to see it.
Well, Kara, though, it was almost to the point where Kara was obsessed with that fourth floor. Like, she's like, I gotta go up there. I want to go see. And it was like weird and not like her at all.
The tour guide said that was like the most ominous floor or something like that.
It definitely felt like I also had weird, but it was weird because when I was up there earlier, I did not. I wanted out of there, but then I wanted to go back up. It was weird. Yeah.
Yeah, she wanted to leave last time, so it was so weird that all of a sudden she had this total turnaround. I was like, oh, let's go to the fourth floor. Let's go play with whatever's up there. I want to go.
And that's when
It was totally weird.
Because we didn't even go. I guess we kind of walked a little bit.
So we went up there, and remember we did an EVP up while we were out there. And there were like all those weird like markings in that one corner, remember, on the floor because we were looking at them.
There was a glass window, like a glass divider on the first floor that had these symbols on them, and they kind of looked like old Chinese symbols or something. But
that's what I thought they were.
I couldn't identify them to be anything specific. They just they didn't look like any specific language to my knowledge, and I sent a picture of them to my boyfriend who studies linguistics, and he couldn't identify what they were either. So,
oh really?
And then there was another.
That is
there was
weird.
like a piece of cardboard or something on the fourth floor that had them on there too.
Yes, up in that corner, like in that corner. I saw that.
Nook,
yes.
Again, I could not tell what they were. They were not familiar to me.
Really? Those looked weirder than the Chinese kind of symbols that we saw down on that glass door down by Grandpa's room.
Not a clue.
I agree with that. Yeah. And it was so creepy in that rec room. They had like wheelchairs in there, and then there was like games for like people to play with. And you're like, okay, this is so bizarre.
Yeah, there was
the floor bowling pins.
Bowling pins.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch them,
right? But you were. I was like,
I knew I shouldn't touch
that
them.
One room. Was it like
right? You don't want to upset whatever's in there.
Is it that one?
Okay.
John's room.
Savannah was like, looked what I was like.
Really?
I didn't want to go in it.
Because the story about that room was that there was a entity or somebody in there that you have to knock before you enter and ask for permission to go in. And then the deal was, if he didn't like you, he would slam the door. He slammed the door shut on other people before if he didn't.
That's why I was like, we're not asking
want to talk to you at the time or whatever.
I mean, if the
that room, I
get
some.
The room from the hallway would have felt
not
friendly.
Good vibes.
I would have thought about asking to go in, but just standing in the hallway and looking in, like I didn't like how the room felt. So I was like, nah.
Yeah. all those little rooms.
Yeah.
I feel like it was just so much
about
energy because they would shove so many people in those tiny ass fucking rooms. Like there were, they said like 8 people would stay in those rooms, and it would seem like
that's a lot,
a little crawl space basically.
Mm-hmm. Some of the rooms, I definitely felt like heavier energy from than others. Some of them, I felt like pretty fine. Most of them I felt pretty fine. Most of the ones with like the little beds and stuff on the 2nd and 3rd floor. But then a few of them, like there was that one room on the corner on like the 2nd floor, I think, that I didn't want to go in because I didn't like the energy in that one. And that wasn't a room that the guide told you anything weird about. I just did not like how it felt, so I was like, I'm not going to go in that one either.
Which one was that? Or what was in that room? Do you remember? Like what was the furniture like?
It was a bedroom, I think. The lights were off, but I could kind of see in it. It was on the right side. It was one of the corner rooms. So, like, as you get off the stairs and you go right, you know how it would split and have a hallway on each side. So, it was like a room on the left.
Oh, I think I remember that. I remember that. It was like that little room, and it was dark in there, and there was like a little bed in there, and that was it.
Yep, I didn't like it.
I remember that you were like, oh, we're not going there. So, we're like, okay.
Huh.
I can't explain why I didn't like it. I get these vibes.
That's fine if you don't.
I trust my vibes.
Well, I trust your vibes too. So if you didn't want to go in the room, I was not going in the room. That's for sure. Was there anything else, Kara? I'm trying to remember. I feel like we're missing something.
We got most of it. We got all the stuff going on.
Yeah, I think that is most of it.
We talked about Sarah.
Yeah.
Our experiences with her or without her. Creepy baby doll that cries.
Yeah, and some of those dolls, let's just say, were pretty creepy that were like in her room and stuff.
A lot of them were really old.
Yes,
people leave her money too, which is weird.
Very old.
And they were all lined up and like piled up on her vanity, the really big vanity, not the tiny one that had the money
we left
on
her
it.
some money.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird. Yeah, I agree. Definitely weird. But it was interesting. I'll give it that. And do I now believe that there could be ghosts out there?
I was like, I feel like
I think so.
It was definitely
I feel
weird,
like
and I'm excited for our next little adventure.
I know.
We're gonna be going.
Our next adventure. I know. Well, then I guess that's it for our little bonus episode here. Like I said, we wanted to share with you guys some of the experiences that we had at the Madison Seminary. If you get the opportunity to go, I highly recommend it.
They have flashlight tours, which are scary.
At night?
Yeah, they do. And they have tours where you can stay until like 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning, which I will not do. No, thank you.
We refuse to do that. They literally won't. Yeah, they literally won't let you leave.
We were there during the day, which is the weird part. Like most.
Yeah. The day was like bad enough. I couldn't even imagine at night in the dark by yourself. Nope. Ugh. Ain't doing it. Yeah, no. I'm sure it gets even like weirder than what we experienced, and that was like during the middle of the day.
Ours was pretty tame. Like, I mean, obviously we had some scary stuff where we were very unnerved, but I can't imagine it during night.
Nope, I can't either. And it was definitely, I mean, it was fun, interesting for sure. The price
was pretty good too. So we were doing a photo shoot. All right, well. If you enjoyed our podcast today, please follow us on Instagram at Two Scaredy Cats Podcast. And please be sure to leave a review on Apple Podcasts because it really helps the show get discovered. And tune in a week for a new episode. To all our scaredy cats and kittens out there, remember, curiosity didn't kill these 2 scaredy cats plus Savannah.